Welcome to the Thrive TV show with Lauren Parsons, helping you boost your health, energy, and productivity.
Hi, and welcome to the Thrive TV show. I'm Lauren Parsons, wellbeing specialist, and today we're talking about how to take imperfect action. And I'm so thrilled to be joined by Natalie Tolhopf. So welcome, Natalie.
Hi, how you doing?
I am doing great. So good to be joined by you. So today we're going to look at how trying to be and do perfect is holding you back. Look at how to attract opportunities and repel the ones that don't align. And also, if not you, then who? And Natalie's someone that I've looked up to for a long time. She is just phenomenal in the message that you share, Natalie, around doing stuff, getting things happening, taking imperfect action. So I'm looking forward to hearing all of that. But just to get to know you a little, let's do our this and that questions. Are you ready for a quick fire round?
I'm ready. I don't know if the audience is going to be ready.
Okay. So tell me, flats or heels?
Oh, this is a toughie. I've got to go heels.
Heels.
Got to go
Okay.
heels. Yeah.
Nice. Bath or shower?
Definitely shower.
Yeah, nice. In and out. Tea or coffee?
Coffee. Yeah, that's a hands down.
Okay, easy. Nice. Visit the aquarium or visit the zoo?
Definitely the zoo. The zoo.
Okay, nice.
So there's an aquarium at the zoo. See, two for one.
2 for 1 bonus. I like it. Magazines or newspapers?
Magazines. These are hard questions, Lauren. I love it. The simple ones are like, what? Shivers, I don't know.
It's the big ones. Monopoly or chess?
Chess.
Chess. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And indoors or outdoors?
Oh, outdoors.
Outdoors. I know you're at beautiful Orewa Beach in the North Island, New Zealand. So yes, outdoors I can imagine. And last one, speaking of that, beach or ski field?
Oh, beach.
Beach, yes. Beautiful.
Beach.
Well, it's so great to have you here, Natalie. So after more than a decade in coaching and failing in her first business venture, Natalie Tolhopf knows that success is all about mindset, focus, and consistency. With a coaching philosophy that's equal parts butt kick and handhold, that guides inspired businesswomen to take imperfect action to build your business in a way that's right for you. And she teaches people how to adopt a success mindset and bust through procrastination and perfectionism to become the star of your own show. And I know that Natalie has great advice that is going to be applicable whether you have your own business or not to help you take action in your life. So Natalie, first of all, just tell us, how did you get started doing what you're doing now?
I have to say though, when you hear your own bio back, I still don't think it gets any easier hearing. You're kind of like, who are they talking about? Is that me? So yeah, thanks. That was a really nice introduction. So I appreciate those quick fire questions as well. Yeah, how did I get started? I'll try and give you the short version and intertwine imperfect action with that, because my intention was to never come out and be known for imperfect action and be a cheerleader or supporter of others, but that's who I inherently am, and it was through imperfect action that's actually helped me realize that. I think imperfect action, like this could be proven wrong. Someone can message in later and let us know that. I think it's perfectionists who understand and need imperfect action. For someone who's not a perfectionist, they're like, what are you guys talking about? Just go and do it. But for the rest of us who take our results and we're scared about judgment and what other people think, imperfect action is something that we need to take. And when the first time I had to take imperfect action, it's probably not the first, but the most standout for me is when I was in my corporate career as a tutor, teaching a diploma. I'm a bit of an extrovert. Don't know if you've noticed, may have noticed some of that. I was being watched for my leadership skills, and I was put into a general management position. So to go from a tutor level into a general management position, and even though I'd run other people's businesses, not only did I need to do the old fake it till you make it philosophy, I actually just had to take action in this new position. Otherwise, I'd literally drown. And so I learned, you just had to swim, literally thrown in the deep end, and you had to swim. And because there was so much I couldn't control, I understood and had to leave at the door the perfectionism that actually helped me get the position, but also wasn't going to help me move forward.
Yeah.
So,
And I think even though you
yeah.
say like, there may be some people that aren't super perfectionist, but I think everyone is on a spectrum, aren't they, Natalie? And so
Totally.
people listening in that can relate to this, that there's so many, I talk about this knowledge action gap sometimes. Sometimes we know the things that we could do or should do, but we don't always do them, and it's about closing that knowledge action gap, and so often that is through taking steps. And when you mentioned before about that up leveling in your career and in your role, that's often that time when that imposter syndrome rears its head, isn't it? And it cuts us down. No matter, you can look at some of the most successful people in the world, and so many of them still suffer from, I still at times have this imposter syndrome that rears its head. So what do you say to people that are going through that?
Yeah, so that's actually what people seek me out for is exactly the answer to that question, because they think because they're here now, there's a success point they're at, they shouldn't not have those feelings of doubt and overwhelm and feeling like an imposter. And I'm like, oh, actually the bad news is all of that amplifies. And it amplifies because the bigger the dream, the bigger the resistance. And so I just think of it like, I treat that kind of stuff like imposter and doubt, I treat it as if your dream is a big beautiful oak tree, and this oak tree casts a shadow. The bigger the dream, the bigger the shadow, the bigger the resistance. And so it's getting you to understand, to be okay with the shade. So for example, in the summertime when it's really, really hot, we seek shade from a tree. So I help people understand that don't be afraid of the imposter, don't be afraid of the doubt. It's all part of who you are, and that's the reason why you can't be perfect, and it's to be perfect because you're a human being, and part of that is being cool to sit in the shade of your own self, and that's where imperfect action helps you, because you know it's not going to happen without any action. Like you said, you can think about it, but until you actually take that step forward, nothing's going to grow.
I've never heard that analogy. That is really powerful.
It's not mine, it's through my studies, but I love it. It's you can see it. Hey, a big tree and a huge shadow, and it's just a shadow.
And I think it's sometimes, like you said, when I was reading through your bio, I have the same thing. You know, it's kind of like, oh, who am I to start my own TV show? There's so much knowledge that I want to get out with the world, and I love being able to connect with these incredible, phenomenal speakers. So why not? And so I just need to stand up and be my oak tree, I guess, even though it feels uncomfortable or whatever it is. Yeah. So have you got specific strategies that you share with people to help people overcome that self-doubt and action?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And I think I just like to take it back to a bit of childhood, which we know stems a lot of who we are now. And in particular, if you're a Kiwi and Australian listening to this, you know, our generation of parents were very much, you know, be safe, get a job, be in a trade. And if you're too loud, you need to be quiet, and tall poppy. And as much as my parents are amazing, there was a lot of talk about status, like, oh, only those types of people go to university, or you can't do that because you're not this. And so I was compartmentalized a lot. And so I didn't believe I was worthy of success because I didn't have a rags to riches story, because that's what I thought is how success happened, or the worthiness. And so for a lot of people, it is getting them to see, you know, how much of a prisoner they've made themselves in their own heads. And so now I've just kind of forgotten your question. How's that for imperfect action?
So yes, so what are the strategies? So I mean, that's fantastic. What are the strategies for people to overcome that self-doubt so they can take action?
Yeah. So, right, thank you. So it comes back to that whole, if not me, then who? And I went and a lot of self-development would go to a lot of events and see speakers. And this is one of the strategies I use with people is we pedestal others very quickly and think that somehow we are different from them. Usually the main difference, obviously, is knowledge. If you're like an expert, you have a different amount of knowledge, or you're just a relevant expert and you're a step ahead. But the fact is just they've grown their confidence and their belief that they can do it. And the fundamental difference is that they are doing it. So I'd often sit in a room full of speakers and go, wow, they were amazing and I learned a lot from them, but why am I not up there doing it? And it's purely belief. So strategies to work on is building that belief muscle. And like any muscle, it can feel weird at the time at the gym. If you're working on a new muscle, like it can hurt. You can think you feel like a dork in the mirror because you've never used that muscle before. And to build your belief is to actually start to receive compliments. When someone says to you that was amazing, you made a difference, receive that.
Yes, and it is a learned thing. I can recall a friend
Totally.
who did occupational therapy, and they had to do a whole lesson at university around how to receive compliments and thanks, because they apparently receive a lot of compliments and thanks in their role. And it's so much nicer for that person giving the compliment for them to say, you're so welcome. You know, when I love giving compliments, and so I give compliments, and so often, you know, my compliments on their appearance or what they're wearing, and so often our natural reaction is, oh, I just got this little thing, nothing, no big deal. And I think that is a New Zealand way of responding.
Yes.
And it's actually really powerful to be able to say, oh, thanks so much, because it makes you feel good. It makes them feel good when you receive a compliment. I know I've had to practice that myself.
Oh, I totally agree. And, you know, without being weirdly woo-woo on it, when you learn to receive and, like you said, give back, you finish that beautiful energetic circle. And I say it often to the women who I work with who want to create more abundance, or that's code for money, is if they can't learn to receive a compliment, how on earth are they going to receive money? And so it's actually bigger than we think. Self-belief. It's the belief that that you're worthy of the promotion, of an increase in wages, or going and studying your own business. Is actually just working on that belief muscle and you know, taking action, which happens to be imperfect, because there isn't perfect. You're never ready.
Yes, so you're never ready. It's not going to be perfect. Take action anyway. Is that summarising your key message? Just remember.
Like, I think if we all thought about our children and we were like, okay, right, you can have children when you're ready. None of us probably would still be having them, because you can talk yourself out of anything. And you know, that's why you are ready, but you're never ready. So that's why you've just got to actually go and do it.
Yeah. And you talked about attracting opportunities. You know, people sometimes say there's a bit of a formula to attracting opportunities, perhaps being in the right place at the right time or being open to it. What are your thoughts on how to actually do that, to make the opportunities happen?
So I'm a huge believer, and so one of the reasons where I think I've been more successful than perhaps other people, or why people look to me for advice, is just because I've had that ability to understand, and it's through running other people's businesses, that it's omnipresent. It's just been everywhere, because I'm taking more action than other people, because I know how to move through my procrastination and my doubt, and so now it's this consistent habit. And so what happens is, when you're having lots of conversations with people and showing up and taking action, is your forefront of mind. And so opportunities come to you more than others, because you're actually just your forefront of mind. Mm-hmm. And when you're showing up in alignment to what you believe in, what you really want to do, and you're outside your comfort zone and taking imperfect action, you know, aligned opportunities come to you, because someone's going to hear your message. And when you're in imperfect action, you can only come off the cuff. You're in rawness in imperfect action, so you come through. And through that, people are attracted to you. They're either violently repelled by you, or they are just attracted to you like a magnet. And I love that philosophy.
And that just reminds me of, you know, what Brene Brown shares around authenticity. If you perhaps, let's say for a business person, you're trying to do some sort of promo video and you script it all out, you're reading it, and it's all perfect, it may not actually connect with people as much as if you do it off the cuff, like you say, because the unique you is going to come through. And I think, you know, in a personal setting, perhaps somebody that's wanting to find a life partner, if you're sort of overthinking and overanalyzing it, whereas if you can just turn up and be you and realize, hey, we're all a little bit crazy and a little bit at times, or a little bit mixed up, or whatever it is, if you just turn up and be you, then actually you're going to find the right person that's going to be attracted to you. And this, you know, you could throw that onto lots of other areas of our lives, our careers, our parenting, being able to just turn up and be authentic.
I totally agree with you. And, like we know, it's easier said than done. And I think it's just we're in our own way a lot. And social media leads us to scrolling and comparing when actually, when you're online scrolling, you're not actually, well, I say this usually, but for the women that I attract and work with, you're not on there saying mean things about other women. You're actually just belittling and judging yourself. So therefore, that's not a good way to be. And, we often think, oh, someone else is probably judging me. It's like, no, actually, because you're not judging other people, you're just judging yourself. So you actually just need to give it a go. What's the worst that can happen is you're just going to stay in the spot you are right now. That's the amazing thing with momentum, isn't it? Is you've got nothing to lose. You can only come back to where you are, and you can't go backwards. That's why you have to do it,
isn't it? To think that if you don't take action, you're just going to stay where you are. So why not take a small step, a small step out of your comfort zone? I think that's really good practical advice as well. Coming back to that scrolling, so many challenges now with social media. We know that social media use is linked to depression and anxiety, and that we compare ourselves to what we see on other people's feeds, even though we know that even what we put out is often just, I only put out the positive stuff to share something that I think is either going to uplift or inspire or entertain or share something with my loved ones. I'm not going to go and complain on social media because that's just me. And it's tricky because it means that I then have this slanted feed, which looks all roses, and that's not the truth, because we know that behind even incredibly successful people, we all have tough days, we all have down days. Natalie and I, we all have self-doubt. But like you said, it's how we work through it. But certainly one practical strategy I found is being selective on who you follow and really spend time on there scrolling, because playing that comparison game, no one ever wins, do they?
Oh, do you know one thing I learned in my personal development really early on, and it's really helped me. It's a universal law called the law of polarity. And the reason I'm telling you this is it goes back to, like you said, with the scrolling. And the law of polarity tells us that if one thing exists, if one extreme exists, then so does the other. So what I do is if I'm scrolling and I start to get thoughts that aren't serving me, bad thoughts, judging myself and all that should scrolling, I call it, I know that I have a choice now to choose the opposing thought. Now, I'm quite what people call a masculine energy. I love facts. I'm like, I need to see facts, and I like physics. And so for me, I understand the polar opposites, that I choose to think this or this. And that's when you understand that, you actually know that you either decide to sit in negative Nancy or actually go and find the evidence and sit over here and be more positive. And actually it's just rewiring of your brain. And I think you're a lot like Neela, and like actually, even though it's not all roses, most of the time we are those positive people. Because really, when you think about it, it's not a huge amount to complain about.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And whenever any moment in your day, whether you're having a fantastic day or whether you're having a down moment, the best way to instantly turn it around is through gratitude, isn't it? To think of something for in the moment right now. And there are always so many things, it's actually a beautiful sunny shiny day today, but let alone I have 2 arms, 2 legs, I'm alive and breathing, there are people that love me, I have a home, and it's just those daily things can make a difference, isn't it?
What's really cool, and the reason I'm smiling is on my notes, the first thing I had down was gratitude around imperfect action. So I love that you segue into that. Sometimes people are like, oh, how do you take imperfect action? And the best way to do that is to choose how you want to feel first. And that's through gratitude. And, you could hear when you were talking just then, like energetically, you just lift it up. And when you're energetically thinking and feeling the way you want to, you then go and take aligned action or imperfect action. And then that just spirals and keeps bringing you the results that you want. So gratitude is a huge, important player in imperfect action.
I love that. And I think, this relates back, if you think to people's health and well-being, that, sometimes we think, I've got to have the perfect fitness routine, or I've got to have, I've got to have made my perfect lunches, or I've got to have my workout routine or my loop track all confirmed. But actually, just going to put some shoes on and get outside, and I'll just figure it out along the way. Like, doing something is so much better than doing nothing, and finding a small way to take a positive step is key, isn't it?
I love that, and I think like we've just talked before we jumped on this podcast, is that imperfect action is universal, and especially with health and well-being, is that health and well-being, it actually just needs consistency. And because life has ups and downs, the only way is imperfect action. And like you said, is just do something. If there's not much choice for a food, you take the better option. It's about what you do, 80% of the time, isn't it?
So how do people be more consistent, or can you share perhaps any stories of your clients that have been more consistent, or tips around that consistency?
So a lot of the clients that I attract are high achievers, which is amazing. However, high achievers, they're usually zero to hero. Like they're all or nothing. They're all in or they're all out. Like if I can't have it all now, I'm not in. And I'm like, well, okay, don't start then, because it doesn't work like that. So success, I believe, it needs small action steps. It needs you to be consistent. And consistency, there isn't a formula for consistency. The best way I can explain that is be like water. You'd be like, so there's a garden hose and a river. And a garden hose, when you turn it off on the concrete driveway, it kind of just dribbles and kind of goes everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully everyone's got good visuals on that. What happens if you're consistent and you act more like a river, which has two sides and a bed? A river is powerful, it has purpose, and it finds the least path of resistance. And actually it was a river that created the Grand Canyon. This tiny, powerful river, through consistency, created the Grand Canyon. And that's how you can get more consistent, is by breaking down your big goal into, well, what do you just need to get done this week? What do you need to get done this month? And it's just biting it down.
Yep. This reminds me of Darren Hardy, who you may have heard of. He's an international coach and the author of Success magazine, and his book, The Compounding Effect.
Oh, yes.
A book, and I remember thinking,
that's it.
Oh yeah, I sort of read the title and I thought, oh yeah, I know what the compounding effect's about. Like, oh yeah, and I finally got around to reading it, and I read it, and it was just phenomenal, because it was talking about exactly what you were saying around our daily habits. Which I knew, but it wasn't until I read this book that it was powerfully represented to me again, and reminded me how powerful it is, the small actions we take. That is how any huge achievement is made. Walt Disney created the empire that he created by starting out with small actions. Every single huge thing that has happened in creator in the past has done that by taking step after step after step. And sometimes we look at the top of the ladder because we know where we want to get to, and that's a good thing to do sometimes, but we've actually just got to look at the next rung, and then the next rung, and then the next rung, so we don't overload ourselves and freak ourselves out that we're not going to get there because it looks too high. Because once we do each of those rungs, we know that in time, as we trust, we're going to get to the top.
Actually, that's a really cool analogy, because snakes and ladders, right? Sometimes you can go up a ladder and sometimes you can fall down the ladder, and the cool thing is you just go up the ladder again. You can't. Well, you can be worse off in the snakes and ladders game, but you get what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. But like that, sometimes you've got to pick yourself up, and sometimes you do have to go back down a bit to go back up as well. And that's good to remember as well. And success isn't a straight line; it is up and down, and it's persevering through.
And so one thing I teach through the strategies with my clients is just it's 3 things a day. What are you doing today? What are the 3 things? And even if you are busy with life and something's happening in life and you can't make that same commitment to your job or your business, it's still like pick one. So every day, we call it, you're moving the needle. Something's shifting all the time, and that's that consistency. It's just that, like you said, it's that habit, and what you focus on grows. Mm-hmm. As much as annoying as those cliches are, they're true.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, another thing that came to mind earlier around a specific strategy or something that I find that I do that helps me with that overcoming of self-doubt so you can take action is I have just a Word document, and whenever I get an email from someone just out of the blue, giving me feedback that's encouraging, that's sharing the difference I've made or how I've impacted their life or their family or their workplace.
Awesome.
I click the forward button so it captures the date and who it's from, and then I just copy and paste it and save it into this Word document so that on those days when something hasn't gone right or just feel like I need to pick me up, I can go in and I can open up. It's called spontaneous feedback. And I just open it up and read through it and I go, oh, that is right. That is why I'm here. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And even though some days it goes up and down, I can come back to those people. And
Yeah, that's great.
in one life, what a difference. So I don't know if you have any other strategies or anything similar, if you do anything like that yourself, Natalie.
Yeah, so you may have heard the Winner's Bible, and it's about by Dr. Carey, always forget his last name, and he actually helps athletes, and it's about, well, why doesn't, and I talk about athletes' mindset, and they actually have a what they call a Winner's Bible, and they have a picture of themselves and their dreams, and it's about evidence finding, going and finding evidence that you are good enough, that you can do this. And he talks about unwavering belief, and it's actually being able to incorporate that into your career dreams or your business dreams or your health dreams. So when you're having those days you're like, I can't do this, again, it's that law of polarity thought choice, is going and looking at your spontaneous feedback, or look at your Winner's Bible to go, you know what, I can actually do this. I'm in the shade of my tree. I'm just having a bad moment. Don't let it turn into a bad week or a bad month.
Oh, yes, I love that. And that, I think clients that have said, perhaps they're dealing with food cravings. And it's like, you don't need to let this bad moment become a bad day or a bad week. It's just a bad moment, and you can move on from it.
Yeah, change it at the next meal, right? Yeah,
exactly. And look for the positive evidence, because I think we know that our brains are actually designed to scan the world for danger, look for the negatives. And so we can actually shift the way that our brain thinks by starting to scan the world for the good and to become more optimistic. And the pathway to do that is through gratitude. As we look for the evidence, like it's just creating those evidence loops. Like for me, recording that, because I could easily let those emails just go. And now when I look back through the years, and there's so many of them, I've forgotten them. And these words are so uplifting and encouraging. But when I just take the time to go back and read them, it makes a difference. And probably for people listening in, there'll be ways that you could set up your own positive feedback loops, and it's just being intentional and doing that, and then perhaps sticking them on the wall or maybe putting them outside where you see them regularly.
Like post-it notes, people love sticking on post-it notes. I know when I was trying to get the first draft of my book out, I would have post-it notes everywhere, like, you can do it, you've got this, because there is such a thing as writer's block. Who knew?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, tell me about that. Have you got any good tips for us around overcoming your writer's block then to take action? Because we may have writers.
What's funny is I actually found my first kind of brain dump of my book this afternoon, and it looks completely different to the first draft that's come out. But that's that imperfect action. If I'd tried to aim for the first draft first, it would have happened. And often by just taking some action on your book, you untangle your thoughts out. So it was actually really cool that someone helped me just write, Nat, just write, and then come back and do because your brain wants to compartmentalize everything as opposed to just free writing. That really helped me, instead of trying to write 2 chapters, like taking a chapter and go, right, I'm going to write on the subject. My brain would want to go write about everything but that chapter. So I just would go with what my...
It's that psychology of procrastination, isn't it? It's like if you ever want to get your house spotless clean, have some other job that you don't really want to do, and then you'll just be really keen to clean the house. Funny how
that's a good one. I would just take myself on a date every morning, half an hour before I was going to work, and I would go to a coffee shop with my laptop. And again, it's the compound effect. I'm probably a living proof of his book, is it's just those consistent compound effects. I do that for all of my things in my life, and that's what I teach my clients, is them just understanding that consistency and accountability to because sometimes people who are highly driven, they have 100 things they want to do. They're ideas people, and all of a sudden so many creative ideas stop them actually becoming finishers. And that's an athlete's mindset, is to become a finisher, and that's discipline and dedication.
I love it. Well, that leads us really into, we're going to finish the show and wrap up soon. So Natalie, if you're going to share one final piece of advice to the people listening in around how to take that imperfect action, what would you say to finish?
It's going to be uncomfortable regardless. You need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, no matter what you're trying to achieve. Because I think imperfect action aligns with achievement. You wouldn't be wanting to get perfection if you weren't trying to achieve something. And so it's just about expanding your comfort zone and being comfortable with being uncomfortable. And If not you, then who?
Absolutely. I love that. That is so powerful. Thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you.
If people want to connect with you, want to follow up and find out more, what's the best way to do that, Natalie?
Yeah, come over to my website, natalietolhopf.com, or come and find me on Facebook or Instagram. I do a lot of live videos because I believe in that whole repel and attract style. So if you're liking the style in which I teach and how I download, then yeah, come on over and follow. And come download my guide as well, which will help you just get more strategies on how I work and how I help other women.
Fantastic.
And men.
And make sure you do head to thrivetvshow.com and click down below for the show notes, because Natalie's surname is quite unique. It's Tolhopf. So you probably want to go and head over and check that out. Make sure you get the right spelling and head to natalietolhopf.com and make sure you get her download. So thank you so much. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. That has been another episode of Thrive TV Show. Go out and thrive.
Thank you for listening to the Thrive TV Show with Lauren Parsons. Visit thrivetvshow.com to access the show notes and discover our fantastic bonus content. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next inspiring episode.